All right, let's do a quick sound check. Looks like we are okay tonight. At least the red bar is looking like we are good. See if you guys can hear me. We're just looking. It looks like there's like a 35 second, 38 second. I guess it's going. It's like slightly on YouTube. So a little bit longer of a delay over there tonight. Make sure you guys are on Twitch. Twitch has a little bit less of one. At least on my end. Like I said, it varies depending on your location, but looks like the YouTube one is definitely a bit more tonight. I'm not sure why. I like 8 seconds on Twitch. And I can hear myself, so I think you guys can hear me, but it should be okay. All right, so let's go through our review. So many of you saw that the power was accidentally bumped today, so we did not have that. With that being said, interesting day kind of in the markets. Again, you guys can see that. Again, we had the ECB information in here. We had core retail sales, and it actually came in much better than expected. It came in 0.2 higher. We expected, again, we talked last night about the 0.5, and again, I didn't actually expect 0.7. I didn't think it would be that good. I thought the 0.5 was a little bit of a stretch. On the flip side, though, the previous was adjusted. And again, whenever you see a green on one side and a red on the other one, you tend to have results that are a little bit funky. But again, nice little, again, more than expected, and you guys can see they adjusted on both sides. The core retail sales before for December, again, came in at 0.1. So they adjusted it down, meaning it wasn't as good. But then again, this is a higher number, so not, again, not too shabby with that one, right? I think that surprised a lot of people. Again, people calling for multiple multiple cuts, this upcoming year. But again, you have core retail sales being, higher than expected. That's always a good thing, right? And again, talks right there. Strength of December, thanks a lot to holiday shopping rush. But again, every year you're going to have a holiday shopping rush, so they already increased that in, and it was even higher. So not too bad there. And then again, GDP, we just got it. I mentioned this before last night that I highly doubted that the GDP would be any less than 6, no matter what was happening. And you can see this is, for the most part, it's been declining lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And again, they said it was going to be 6, and they kind of projected 6. I didn't think there was any way I didn't think there was any chance that this would be any less. And the reason why, well, pretty simple, right? With the trade war going on, if that number came in at 5.9, even though 5.9 is a great number, there is no way they were going to give the U.S. that kind of power. And then they're showing industrial production year over year is up 6.9. So yeah, industrial, yes, we're producing tons. It's like, okay, no, nobody's buying it right now. We know that number's down. So again, I take everything that I see from them and kind of put a little asterisk next to it. Okay. So with that being said, let's see what we did here. So you guys can see, I mean, obviously in the last 60 minutes, the euro dollar has been more in the upwards direction. You can see in the last 24 hours, it's down about 15 pips, but it has moved a little bit more recently up. So again, that's kind of, again, the same kind of story that we've dealt with the last probably week, 2 weeks, a lot of these movement, but then retracements. That's kind of what we're seeing here in the chart. Pound dollar, again, you're starting to see a little bit more movement in the pound, a little bit more strength, right? In the pound dollar as well as the pound yen, both of them are a little bit on the higher side. Pound yen, at least today, actually put some work in. Not a lot. It was 67%. We did not hit the average daily ATR right now. So we're still on the low side for that one. But again, it at least was the big mover. The Swiss was not the mover today. I know that one had been down the last couple of days. And we've been talking about that one basically switching, reversing, right? As there was less and less information about Iran. And again, today was, trade deal, everything else. Now, interesting enough, I guess the articles finally got marched down there and they swore people in today. And, the world didn't end, obviously. And it looks like they're going to do out of the last I saw, it looked like they were set to do the full trial, which is exactly what I think the Republicans want to do. I think they want that full trial to get the president exonerated. I did think it was funny that, the Supreme Court Justice swore everybody in to be completely impartial, which I think is absolutely a complete farce. One, I don't think they're going to be partial because I don't think the lower house was impartial. So I don't think there's any chance that this one will be impartial as well. Nor does I think it need to be. I think this has just gone way too long. Even if you impeach him, there's no way you're going to remove him. It is what it is. It's like, just let's move on and go forward. Let's just stop living in the past. Um, but I think it's honestly, I think it's playing exactly into the president's hands the way that he forecasted that it was going to, and now we have to endure more distraction to do nothing. Whatever, it is what it is. Um, all right. On top of that, it was interesting too. I don't know if you guys, I don't tend to watch the debates or anything, but I'll tend to watch some of the highlights from them and then kind of the replies and some and things back and forth. I thought it was pretty interesting that a couple of the historically pro-Democrat announcers and commentators basically said with the panel that they had their, I guess, that they didn't stand a chance of beating Trump, and they were Democratic guys, which I thought was pretty interesting. I was like, what? So I don't know. I can't wait for the one day that we actually have great candidates all across the board, and it's like a really, really tough decision on who you're going to vote for. Those are the days that I'm looking for. I'm going to be positive. I'm thinking in the future, looking for that, right? But you guys can see the world did not end, right? We have a lot of green up here. Pound was up, dollar yen was up, dollar Swiss again reverting back from Iran, dollar Canadian up slightly, Aussie dollar again down a bit, and again euro pound. That pound strength is kind of approaching back in. We got a little Christmas color change over here, right? As well as we see the pound yen is up as well. And again, pound yen is up 63, but you can see if you look in the last hour, again, it was down, 11% or 0.11%. So again, a little bit of a retracement back on that. Nothing that we haven't seen already. Before I type it in, is it possible for me to win the raffle since I'm not a subscriber? Of course you can. Pattern Trader won. He hasn't won this week, obviously, but in the last 2 weeks before that, I think he's won 2 or 3 times. And Pattern Trader is not a subscriber. Yeah, it has nothing to do. It's just completely random. Now, the only difference between a subscriber and a non-subscriber is a non-subscriber earns just overall pip chips at a slower rate. That's all it says. And actually, here I can show this if you want, real quick. Where is my stream elements? Boom, boom, boom. You guys should be able to see it up here. And if you look into the loyalty settings, you can see here's the only difference, right? Viewers receive 1 pip chip every 10 minutes. Subscribers receive 2 pip chips every 10 minutes. Besides that, everything else is exactly the same in here. There's no difference between the two. So subscribers earn them at a double rate. Okay, so nope, not too much of a difference. Okay, I can probably make it bigger if you can't see it. No, it doesn't really change too much. A little bit, maybe a little bit. But that's all it is. You guys can see it right here. Only difference, Lindo, you're good, buddy. Bring that right back to 100 so it doesn't get too crazy on me. All right. So, what Sean saying? I saw that today, too, a panel of Democrats said that there isn't a candidate that can beat Trump. Bloomberg having the best chance since he's spent over $1 billion on his campaign so far. Yeah, but he's only been in for a little bit. Honestly, I don't know how Bloomberg could run and actually get a Democratic vote because they are so anti-tax the rich, everything like that, and businessmen have no business being in there, but he's nothing but a businessman. And he actually didn't do that great a job in most people's opinion in New York. So I'm kind of confused on the Bloomberg thing because they're like, no, we don't need a businessman. We need a politician that has experience. Bloomberg was a mayor. I mean, it's kind of like you always said that Rudy Giuliani didn't have enough experience because he was just, basically, you know, he was just this. I don't think anybody has enough experience to be a president. There's no way you can get enough, unless you are the vice president. Nobody in their right mind can ever say that I have experience, that I deserve to be president, unless you're the vice president, And Biden, I think, is a horrible decision. I don't think he stands a chance. But I'm just surprised there's not a better leading candidate at this point. I think a lot of people were really surprised the one woman from California dropped. She actually had a lot of support from a lot of different areas. I think Hillary sent her an email and basically said you should drop out. Is what I think happened. It's all about the money, it seems. It is. Oh yeah, they're talking about it. I'll be down to 15 even if I win. No, because you guys get 5 inches is pointless though, since you'll be spending 40 to make 25. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's not worth the win. That's one of those things. Yeah, it's not worth the pip chips, right? All right, so that's what we got going on right now, guys. Going into tomorrow, all right, we have GDP retail sales. Obviously, today was the U.S. Tomorrow is GDP, or Great Britain pound retail sales. And then followed closely after that, we have building permits, FOMC, which, again, not a big deal. And then, obviously, University of Maryland consumer sentiment. That consumer sentiment, I think, will be a little bit telling. Not that it is a earth-shattering number. You guys can see it is in orange. But with the markets where they are right now, again, with retail sales coming in, so that people are spending money, with a trade deal coming in, saying that we're going to get zero point 0.5 more GDP out of this whole thing with this trade deal. I'm actually not happy with the trade deal. I don't think it is as good as what was published. Um, I understand. I guess I was listening to something today as well that was talking about how there were basically, they called them like the seven deadly whatever, not seven deadly sins, but the seven deadly pillars or whatever it was. Basically, we needed seven things is what we're going on the table, and we got four of those seven. And one of them was protection on personal property rights or whatever, or intellectual property rights. I haven't heard much about that. And there's billions of dollars worth of purchases. I know that was the big reason for going after China. But something is fishy at the end. Something doesn't really add up to me. And I'm glad they said that, we're not going to do, tariffs are not going to be, going too crazy. We're not going to, we're not going nuts with it, with the reduction in tariffs. If one side's not going to do it, the other one's not going to do it. So, eh, we'll see. I don't know. I thought the phase one, the fact that there's phases, I think is just, I think it's crap. There was not like a, I don't know. I think it needs to be a deal or no deal. And if it's a no deal, I think they need to ratchet it up a thousandfold. Um, I'm not a big supporter of what China does. All right, looking at what kind of top news we're dealing with. Transition period for Brexit will not be extended further. Not surprised whatsoever. Didn't think that it would be. Like I said before, he was like, "I'll just hard exit. I don't care." And then as soon as the European Union says that we're looking for an extension, I knew that that's it. The power had then shifted back into Johnson, and he was like, "No, we're not going to extend it. If we just didn't have to hard, then whatever. This is what we want." And now he's getting bold, and good for him. Good for him, because they were trying to, like, yeah, we'll give you an extension here, we'll do this, but we don't have to do this. They kind of held it over their head. Good for him. He has the power. He should use it. And if he's unable to get the free trade deal that he wants with the European Union, he should get a free trade deal with every other kind of group that he can in the world, because that's what free marketism is about. Do it. Get it. If the European Union wants to work with you, great. If the European Union does not have that same type of trade deal, if it's not important to them, lovely. That'll be the demise of the euro faster. And then we have a whole bunch more currency pairs to trade. I'm totally on board with that one. I love this. The Trump administration. They broke the law in withholding Ukraine aid for a policy reason. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure why that's breaking the law, that we don't give money to. I don't know. I'm not a big person about funding all these other nations anyway, so I'm not sure why it's breaking law about giving U.S. money away to other countries just for whatever reason. Um, Furthering U.S. policy, to me, is a good idea. If you don't want to help us, then we shouldn't give you money. I don't know. That's just me, right? I don't know. I don't think there's any law that says we have to give all the U.S. taxpayers money away to other countries to help them. So, someone getting frequent flyer miles out of the trade deal. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, exactly. They are. Somebody is. There's perks and bells and whistles. They get all kinds of fun stuff. Just think about how much does it cost every time we send a trade delegation across there? Don't they have telephones? Couldn't they do it by Skype? Right? Sound logic to me. Yeah. 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 All right, guys, let's go over the scanner. So, looking at the scanner. Now, I have not hit the update button today. But I got it again. So any of you that have the scanner, there is a new updated version of the scanner. I don't know what's in it. I just know that he said that they are sending out an update, that they've made some changes to it. I don't know if it was for accuracy or for handling gaps better, because remember, gaps do mess the scanner up a little bit. It has a hard time with the draws. But I haven't updated it. My goal was to update it tomorrow when I was not using it. I've learned my lesson of updating when I'm using something. As you guys know, last time, again, I did the Microsoft update and it blew the whole thing up. The hard drive is still working. I'm using it now as a backup drive, but again, I lost everything. I lost all the programs. It was kind of a pain. So it's all backed up in different places now. So not updating until tomorrow, but then I'll tell you guys what's actually different and what's actually in there. I don't think there's an update log, but we'll update it. So looking at the scanner, again, remember, the scanner is to be used, again, in this night, when we're using this daily 4-hour and 1 hour, the scanner is to be used as kind of a bird's eye view of what's happening in the market. And again, there's many ways to do it, but this is just one of them and tells us kind of what the current scenario is. If you remember last night, what we were talking about, we talked about there was a lot of check marks, meaning that we had an uptrend or downtrend confirmed, which was one stage in the trend before a setup. Okay, we also had a bunch of different setups. Interestingly enough, look at tonight. Okay. What do we have here? We have one anchor break. We have one sideways up confirmed. Is anybody surprised that that's in the yen? I'm not. We have one to the downside, right where they set up the dollar Swiss, which again, are you surprised that this one is retracing a little bit? I am not, right? Because again, news right now is not flooded with anything about Iran, right? Nothing about Iran in here. It's already starting to go in the behind us, right? So again, what's driving any pressure into the Swiss? Nothing. Okay. Um, So I'm not surprised by this one. Looking in the European basket, okay, we have Euro Yen sideways confirmed. So there's something there. Euro Aussie, same type of situation. Euro New Zealand, we looked at that one. That one gets a little bit wild, and there was a zone that we were approaching. Euro pound downtrend setup again. This is that pound strength coming back in. Why? Well, because of things like this. Okay, the pound being more aggressive. And then we have Euro Swiss, same thing. The same type of downtrend setup because of the pullback that we're seeing in the dollar Swiss. Again, Swiss losing strength. Look in the Canadian basket. Before we had setups, now we got the New Zealand CAD, which is a very, very funky pair, right? That's an anchor break up. We have up, and again, this is the leading pair, up confirmed. This is the secondary pair, sideways up consolidation. Dollar CAD, up. Anchor break, up. So again, this is weakness, 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 weakness. So we are seeing CAD weakness across the board, at least in this case. Basically with everything except the yen. Okay. Looking at the Aussie basket. The Aussie basket was pretty good last night. Everything was more or less in the same direction. If you remember, we had all blue. We had no red here. Well, what do we got today? Now it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Only thing we have really in a great situation is the Aussie, Aussie Swiss, which again, Aussie Swiss here, here, where is it? Here and here. It's all the same trend state across the board, downtrend setup. Okay, because again, that was a geopolitical event that caused the strength in the Swiss, and now we're starting to see that geopolitical event disappear, and you're seeing that retracement. All right. So again, kind of a mixed bag with Aussie. I don't like it as much tonight. Looking at the pound, pound is in the first position in all these different pairs. We have two, right? Sideways up confirmed. Again, one trend state from an uptrend setup. Pound CAD, same situation. You're seeing that pullback over here on the 4-hour. So again, we may start to see the uptrend set up on both these two, but the same problem that we ran into, are they close to a supply zone? Do we need to be careful about buying into an area of sellers? Okay, that's what we need to look at. Looking at the rest of these, the pound, Aussie, Swiss, New Zealand, and dollar, they are in a consolidation phase. Okay, sideways down, but there's no confirmation, there's no anchor break, there's no setup, it's just sideways down. And again, you're seeing sideways down here, sideways down here, sideways down here, sideways down here. And you do have some confirmations on these these hybrid pairs, but the major pairs in here, something like the pound dollar, you're seeing just consolidation, 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 all the way across. All right. Oh, now it's showing that there's downtrend setups on those two, right? So we'll look at those, but for the most part, the market is not as strong today going into tomorrow. Okay. And again, the setups are not here, not as good looking. All right. Now, looking at, if I'm looking at just the 4 hours on this one, there's a little bit more, right? We have two setups, two confirms here, two confirms a setup, three confirms and a setup, one setup here, two confirms and a setup down here. So the 4 actually is showing a little bit more than what we have, and that may be the way to play this. Okay. So we'll check markets out. All right, so let's go over into some of the charts. We'll see if we can kind of speed this one along a little bit tonight. Let's see here. All right. Wow, the Aussie is rallying right now, probably because of the China news, but we'll see. It'll probably pop back. We were way down there. All right, let me switch over to the chart section. Let's see here and go across. All right, there we go. We will start with the Aussie dollar. So, as you can see, this guy is rallying. We had pushed all the way down inside of this lower zone, which we talked about last night. And bam, this is what we got going on. The only news that we've had at just 20 minutes ago, obviously, would be here, which again would be the Chinese news. Okay, and a lot of this probably has to do with here. I'll bring this across. A lot of this bump has to do with this industrial production, 1% higher. Ooh, industry production. Well, again, that's that's gold. That's Australia, right? Australia has those resources that China's buying. So again, that's why you're seeing a pop up in this. But most likely, this will kind of push up, and then again, most likely fold over again. We'll see where it's going there. But again, that's because of the Chinese production number. Again, it also happened to go down and spike to grab those orders inside of this demand zone, so not necessarily surprised. Now, the trend state on this one is just considered uptrend, right, on the daily. Looking it back on here on the daily. A little bit messy because you can see all the lower level time frame, but it's green, right? You're seeing a green candle right there, right? Now, this is a huge pullback. No, not really. Okay, but it's green. Up, come across, hitting this, we're in an uptrend, right? Dropping down to a 4-hour. Let's pop this back out again. You can see this is what we got sitting here. Now, this is actually a zone that we drew on one of the lower time frames. It looks like it's in the middle of nowhere because it is on the 4-hour. It was one drawn on one of the lower time frames. This is that situation where we had the two and there was the middle piece, and we talked about the aggressive nature of this one. Let's see. I think that was drawn on the hourly. Maybe. I feel like it was, and it was marking off something in here. Anyway, you can see that we came across, yeah, it was marking off this zone here, and I like this little aggressive piece right before it. And again, it based inside of that area, went just slightly higher, and then collapsed down. It actually grabbed this upper zone right here, which makes sense. Here, let's go back. Maybe that wasn't. Maybe it was the other one that I drew. Anyway, it's grabbing the order sitting inside of this section right here. Okay, so not necessarily surprising. Let's pull a 30-minute one. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it was pulling. Yeah, it was pulling the very top. And actually, this is a little bit where it pulled from. Here, let's see. See where it's pulling from the green? You should have probably pulled from the red, not the green, because it's basically that's the open and close is almost the exact same there. So this is one of those ones. The indicator's off. So this was the aggressive base drop in here, right? Let's see, we can shrink that one, and you can see coming across, it hit there, started to pull back again, grabbed some more orders, and then made another attempt to push right through again. Okay. Had you had this a little higher, and again, the indicator was slightly off, again, you're not going to grab just the green, you would have probably grabbed the red because we had some confirmation in there, right? It should have been there, right? Because that encompasses both the green as well as a red body, right? Instead of just being up here, which is basically the open and close, which is too little, that's where you should have been, right? Which is about 5 pips risk on that one. And again, we have the confirmation with this green candle coming up and touching it. Oh, well, I gotta extend it across on them. Yeah, I'll do horizontal line. A little bit easier, right? There. And oh wait, no, not this one. Oh wait, not here. It's this one right here. Sorry. Hold on. Hold on, let me get it. Come on. Select it. Here, I'll just move these. All right. Here. And again, this is too small. And it's just the body. So you need the red candle to actually have some type of a pullback area right there, right? Okay. You were talking about a total of about 5.5 or about 4.5, almost 5 pips, right? Come across, that's where basically your entry was. So you may have not gotten your entry on that one. I would not have put it any lower than that. And again, I think we talked about this last night, doing some type of nadex position off of this anyway. And you can see that would have been a nice little run to the downside from there. All right, so it got pretty close. This one, again, there was the top side of that one. You can see it barely went to the top side. It went barely above the top before it turned and flipped. Again, had you been in nadex where there was no true stop loss, you're good to go on that one back to the downside, and you're grabbing about 40 pips out of that one. Okay. And again, this is what we talked about, being this morning, easy position to grab. All right. So that's where we are sitting at. Oh, excuse me, right now. Bam. Take that off. All right. I think this will end up retracing. I don't think. Let's see. Will we get that high? Within pips of this area. I think this will turn around and come back down again. Don't know if. Let's see. Kind of a. It's an 8 pip there. over here. I think dollar strength and any dollar news tomorrow that's positive. I think this will kind of turn and flip. I don't know that we're going to get up to the wick over wick. We've already seen kind of the initial response to that news. I think we may end up having some pull away from this, and as people really digest the reports, I mean, there's a number, but then there's a report associated with it. I think when people digest it, I think this will start to push back to the downside. Where it'll stop at is pretty interesting. With this candle looking to the left, you're looking in this zone, but this is a double, a mirror wick here. Not really concerned about that. Hmm. Oh my God, Lindo's buying crazy tickets again. Oh, Jesus, Macs are awesome. He's doing it for the Mac, huh? He's doing it for the principal. I'm gonna spend 200. I'm gonna spend 200 pip chips to win 25. I can do it, guys. I can do it. So anyway, I think this one will turn and flip back down again. There's no real setup sitting in there right now. We'll see what you can get. Also, New Zealand, we do have a just basically downtrend. You can see this one is pulling away on the 4-hour pretty nicely. We are getting into an area here. We did have a little bit of a pullback, so there may be something. The one thing I don't like about this in the 4-hour is there hasn't really been any clear pullbacks in here. There's been a little basing here, a little basing here, but really nothing too crazy as far as great little pullback zones, right? This is definitely pulling back down. It is getting into an area of demand. That area, again, this pierced about this far into the zone, about 30%. I don't think this will have any problems going down to this range. Let's see where. I wish we had like some type of clear level of basing in there. I mean, there's just nothing right now to the downside. Looking at it on the hourly, there's a zone here. Hold on. There's a zone here, but look what it's made up of. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 candles wide. So it's a very low quality zone. Yes, we do have nice movement off of it, but 11 candles is a long time to be establishing orders. I would have liked it much better if it was a quick pullback like this, not just this sideways basing. So really not the best thing, and pushing to the downside, we are getting into an area of demand. And this is not a bad area. Again, price really kind of skyrocketed out of there. It hasn't tested it yet. This area is what? 103.67 down to 103.60. So about a 7-pip range. Not really a bad range whatsoever. And at least we saw some explosive movement out of it. Next time we really see anything is there's a little bit of an area here, but again, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 candles wide. You typically like to have, I'd say 2 to 3 is ideal. 8, a lot. 11, a lot. And then we have this lower down range, this lower one down here, which has been tested to the top side, so we know that one is a valid one. So big question is to see, is this valid or is this one not? Basically right now it's giving us a downtrend. Be cautious in a downtrend where we're getting ready to run into an area of buyers. Okay, and that's what we're ready to do on this one. Looking across at Aussie Yen. So Aussie Yen, big spike down, big spike up. Let's clear some of those. Why is there a big spike down, big spike up? Well, pretty easy. That's the Chinese data. Okay, I'm expecting it to come and turn and flip and head back to the downside. Now, this guy, let's kind of move out a little bit. You can see here. So, whoops, I was like, why is it going back? Okay, this is the one that I drew the different line. So here, this red bar is the indicator picking where its zone is. Here is my aggressive one. And you can see right here, what did we do? We ended up hitting the aggressive one, turning and flipping back to the downside. So a couple of you posted this trade today that I saw. I know Carl was like, oh, it was a great futures market for the Aussie. It's like, well, it was actually the Aussie dollar, or I'm sorry, the Aussie yen that did it. And it looked the same in multiple pairs, but it ended up rallying up into that aggressive zone that we talked about, hitting and flipping back to the downside. And if you look where it went to, it stopped exactly where it's supposed to go. Right now, we haven't quite hit the 3-to-1 risk-to-reward ratio based off that zone. But, and I will say but, with this level of basing, you could have definitely risen this up a little bit if you wanted to. Now, again, it's inside of the same range. You could have left it. Again, leave the trade on, take it. You were, what, about 2.5, probably 2.75 to 1. So you could have decided to take this off before the news if you wanted to, because, again, it is Chinese news. It will affect this. But if not, I think this will turn and most likely flip to the downside. But yes, there was definitely something to grab inside of here. It's painted a new zone at the top. And again, it just happens to be inside of the gray aggressive zone that we painted last night. And the reason why we painted that one, okay, again, is because of this zone right here. Okay, the pull away from this area. Nice pull up and then red, green, red kind of explosion out of it. Larger candles than what we had seen all in this basic level. So instead of grabbing this little thing here, We had this low one here, this high one here. Okay, it actually grabbed the high one, but not this one down here. All right. It's not rigged for subscribers. It's rigged against negativity. That's what it is. All right. So, with that being said, I do think this will flip, but you're already starting to see a red candle in this one on the 30-minute. We'll see if we get this one to pull back to the downside. Interesting enough, let me see. Let me go down here and look at 5-minute and see if we can get, if it's giving us anything here. No, not really. I was trying to see if we were running into something easy. I mean, we're running into this zone. You guys can see this little wick over wick on the 5-minute is what this candle and this candle, both spikes ended up running into. We'll see if we get the same type of pull back to the downside. Okay. It's funny. It's giving an uptrend setup, using the 5 and 30-minute, but again, there's nothing after a new spike. We're not gonna, you're not looking to take that one. All right. Let's go and look at Aussie CAD. So Aussie CAD. Let's see. We must have done this on the 4-hour. There you go. So Aussie CAD, simple enough. We had marked off the gap and said we have to respect the gap. As you guys can see, this thing came up and hit our white zone, right? This was our zone that we said, hey, listen, the indicator did not grab it. You have to make sure that we are respectful of the gaps. Again, the gap was tested to prove that there were sellers here, there were sellers here, there were sellers here, and then bam, you'll notice very low, very low, very low, and then boom, this one popped more in there. Meaning, next time we pull up, I probably would not be using this as a sell. I'd be using this as a launch off point to the top side when it breaks the top and goes higher. But again, on the 4-hour, this is a nice little run, is about 55 pips to the downside in Aussie CAD. And we talked about it yesterday. This was an easy setup. If you wanted me to throw this, again, you don't have to take it on the 4-hour, but if we drew it on the 4-hour, you guys can see, oops, there would have been your 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. Actually, not that far, but it would have been there. Okay, so we didn't quite make it on the 4-hour, but I said we would probably go down to a lower time frame to, get a better, look at this one. Looking at the 1 hour, pop that off so we can go back and look at the gap. Okay, we will adjust this accordingly and see how it looks. If you go back to here, you can see, again, did we need this whole piece? No. We could have gone right over here inside of this gap area. Okay, and again, this is taking the gap. We see that the gap was tested here. Okay, which makes this a valid setup. And again, here is the actual peak of it. Going across, you can see, bam, we did hit it. So again, you always want to make sure that we drop the lower time frame to see if we can get a better risk to reward ratio entry. So there you go. There is your risk. Actually, here I'll remove that. Bring this across. Go to there. Okay, let's zoom in on that one. Make sure that we are good. Close. All right, take that one off. Click that one. Let's see. I will make sure that it's perfect. No cheating. There we go. And now let's go across. Look at that. Boom. 3-to-1. And look how close. I don't know if you guys can see it. So close. It missed the 5-to-1 risk to reward target by that much. I don't know if you guys can see how little it is. It was that close. So there's your 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. Again, we set that up last night. This one, again, we're refining it just slightly. You're able to get your entry. We went about 80% through, and it was a 28 pip grab or potentially even a 46 pip grab. Even if you were still in it right now, you're up about 29 on there. But again, you would have been able to grab, risking 9 pips. I mean, if you're making, you're making 40 in the other direction, which is here, that's a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade. Okay, and again, if you didn't get it here, again, you'd be moving your stop out. Again, there you go, off the gap, guys. So that is another one of the gap trades that was set up that was triggered and ended up, coming through for us. All right, so where we are now, I do expect this to kind of flip, and you're seeing it's already starting to pull back to the downside. Big question is, this is too big of a zone. I don't like the way the candles are formed on this one. I don't agree with the way that this one is drawn. I'd wait for this to go a little bit lower. I think if we can get back down into this area over here, again, the indicator is not taking account that this one needs to go to the left. But again, it is drawing our attention there. I would probably put myself more in that area right there as a potential area where we're looking for buyers. Okay, so I would skip over this one and I would go down and look for this zone. And again, we wanted to make sure that we have the appropriate risk for it, and then look for this to start rebounding, most likely to the top side. Okay, that area, again, it's going to be a little bit different on everyone depending on what broker firm you're using. I'd actually probably shorten that just a little bit. Let's shorten it to about there. So you're talking about having this proximal zone at 89.50 to 89.47. So nice little 7-pip zone is I would be looking for in that one. Okay. Hopefully you guys are able to grab this one. Again, very, very simple target off the gap on the hourly, coming down from the 4-hour. Okay. All right. That was Aussie CAD. Aussie Swiss. Okay. Aussie Swiss. Does it look like it's doing much here? Not really. That's the daily. Okay. Here's the 4-hour. Again, what were we doing? We were rallying up last night. We had a big drop down today, and then it's rallying back up again. So again, it is telling us that we have a downtrend setup on the 4-hour and the daily, but what are we running into? An area of demand. So really not really the best setups. Looking at this one on the hourly, again, is there really much trended here? No. I mean, we were here. I'm sorry, we closed here. We gapped here. We went all the way back up again. We pushed all the way down again. There's no trends in this one. Again, stay out of markets that are sideways like this. They're just not really worth it. Okay. All right, so let's drop into the Canadian pairs. Okay. CAD yen, right? What do we do today? Look at this one on the daily. We went up, but just a little tiny bit. It's grinding, right? It's eating through this large wick. So really not much movement. There's no type of pullback. We're in an uptrend confirmed. We are still waiting for zones that are sitting up top. We basically just have to wait. Nothing in this one until we can get, some nice movement to the top side. Now, the scanner has said that we have something lower, and I would kind of agree with that one. But if anything, I like this zone a little bit better. We had a nice little pop. We had this sideways movement and then a nice pop again. Okay. And again, what does this do? There's a wick here, then there's a higher wick, then there's a wick here, then a higher wick, and then a higher wick leading into a pop. So again, it's one of those little kind of triangle patterns that we like going to the top side. Okay. So there is a little small area here. Here, I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. There's an area sitting right here. Okay. Let's change this to white. Okay, so we do have a little bit of an area like that. All right, again, up, sideways, pop. It retested with this green candle to show us that there are buyers in that area. I like that better than what the scanner is pulling down here. All right. What does it say? Can't find. It says nice. That way I can reset the fib tool with the. Yep. Oh, he's telling you guys about the risk of reward tool. Yeah. That was what we were talking about last night, if that was possible, because then some of you guys could use the fib again if you wanted them. So yeah. See, adding tools every day, guys. Lindo, I'm the most positive here. I'm taking it today. Actually, Lindo, what I didn't tell you is Ernest spent 1,000 pip chips to guarantee his victory tonight. I'm just saying. Is what a failure to go lower? This? No, a failure to go lower would be at the bottom. It would look something like more like this. Where you have a push down, and then it makes another attempt down and doesn't go as deep. Like this to this one. Typically, it's pretty close. Like this. Okay. This would be a failure to go higher, right? We popped up, and then it pushed away, pushed lower, gained some distance away, and then rallied back up again and was unable to go any higher. See the failure to go lower, or see the failure to go higher, and then boom, it launches it to the downside. That's what it's doing. Okay. So not quite the same over here because it didn't really attempt to go lower. It just went sideways and then put in buyers. Okay. All right. So that is the CAD yen. Again, still grinding, still not doing a whole much. CAD Swiss. Again, what did we do? We're bouncing off a demand zone. So even though it's a downtrend setup, had you shorted this in that downtrend setup, would you have got much out of it? Nope. And again, what did it do? I mean, it came up and grabbed orders. I mean, here's green orders right there. It grabbed it, downtrend setup, but where's it going to go? You're talking about 23 pips, 24 pips to the downside before we run into an area of buyers. And again, it's already pushed up once here, then here again, then here again. Next time it punches through, I think we could probably break through the top side. So again, downtrend setup this low in this curve in here in an area of demand. That's a no-no. You don't want any part of that one. All right. So let's switch down and go to the Swiss. See what we did here. So Swiss yen. Okay, here we are on the 4-hour. What did it do? Look at that, right? So we pushed up. I mentioned this last night. If we pushed a little bit higher, we could get in there, and look what we did. We pushed up higher. There we go. We dinged it. We went over, and at one point today we were up 40 pips on this one, 37 pips. You're currently up about 17 on this one. Again, this is on the 4-hour. Okay, so this trade is live. I mean, again, if you are, if you're that deep into this, again, you were already 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. There's no harm in putting it down, putting it here. But if you're in this position, we are still live in this position in a positive manner. And like I said, at one point we were up 40 plus on this one. All right. So again, still high. If it goes up into there again, it's still probably worth the sell. We are approaching the weekend, so again, not something. The Swiss is definitely something I don't want to hold over the weekend. Why? Because again, when does Iran shoot missiles? When does Russia go into other countries? Everybody does stuff on Saturdays. They just feel the need. It's like, hey, listen, it's the vacation. They won't be ready, just to kind of mess with us. Everything always happens on the weekends. So again, the Swiss yen is definitely something I'm not carrying over. But again, we are in that same situation. We did get triggered. We are positive in this trade to the downside, but I would close this thing out tomorrow. If you are in it, you can always reopen it again if you wanted when the market opens again on Sunday. And maybe even we'll get lucky on this one. Maybe this one will open right inside of that same area to the top, and then you have another ability to get short on this one. Take some profit tomorrow, have it gap up, and then take it short again back to the downside. All right. So that one is still live in the Swiss. I guess the Swiss, I can just leave it this full. Going into the Euro pair. No watermark. No. So here's the thing. I'm going to probably have to do the watermark, and it's going to have to be like an overlay of sorts. So this is what I'm thinking about doing, Lindo, just for that reason. Because again, it's MT4. It's not the most advanced program in the world. I mean, it's the most used, but it's not called the most advanced or anything. This, you guys see at the bottom over here? I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, I guess you guys can't see it. Below these charts, right? What do you guys see? The follow KTS, and it gives you the Instagram and the Facebook, tags. That is actually, it has nothing to do with this. That's actually an overlay. So that's a web page that those are on with a clear background. What I'm thinking about doing is if I have that overlay up, what I can do is I can add text in the middle somewhere, or like somewhere down like here in the bottom. And basically when I switch into a pair, I can like manually type it in. Okay, that may be one option that we can do. No, wait, what? I don't know what chart I'm looking at. Yeah, he wants a watermark on the actual charts itself. And the problem with a lot of the watermarks is you tend to kind of see it, like it can interfere with it, is what I don't like it with. Yeah. Yeah, he wants a watermark on there. Like I don't know if you're familiar with like ninja charts. Oh, you have one? Okay, I can try it. Yeah, ninja charts have it in the back, but typically it looks best on like gray charts. Typically black ones, it doesn't look as good, but we can try it. Like I said, I'm hesitant to go to the white charts, but all right. So looking at the Euro Aussie, okay, do we have a trend in the Euro Aussie? Not so much. What are we doing? We're bouncing back and forth between these two areas. Again, I still, this is still a decent zone. We ended up hitting it. We went down. And again, we didn't even make it as high, didn't even make it as low. So still somewhat in a sideways pattern. Again, I was expecting we'd get a little bit more movement with ECB talking. We ended up not. We did get a little bit of a bounce right here. You guys can see this big green spike back up again. But that was it. We didn't go to the top or the bottom. I had alerts set in both directions, and neither one of those alerts actually got triggered. So it's basically sideways at this point. Again, I'm going to move on. There's no reason to talk about the sideways market, especially going into a Friday. Now, looking at EuroCAD, okay? We have a downtrend set up in this based off the 1 hour and the 4 hour, but at the same time, is it grabbing a zone? Yeah, there's a little zone where we're at right now, but we don't have too much movement to the downside. We have, let's see, we have what? About 18 pips, 20 pips before we start getting into a buying zone. This one, again, I was expecting we get more movement out of this one, especially with the CAD being weak. But in this case, it's actually showing more CAD strength, right? Over, in the 1 hour. This continued to push lower, right? Going lower means European weakness, CAD strength. There wasn't really any news that I would say that really would make the CAD strong. So again, weakness, waiting for this one to be patient, waiting for it to come down to a zone. That's the best you guys can do. And again, the scanner ended up picking up this big zone. Obviously, it's the overlay is because it's green, and the green and the purple is the overlay with my white on there. I would still use the white. I still wouldn't use the green on this one. I think the green is just a retest. And again, we have a confirmation here and here. I'd be using this white zone again, not the green on that one. Okay, and that zone, you guys can see it. It's based off of the wick over here against the wall, confirmed by this candle right here. All right, and again, this is Aussie CAD. Jumping across to Euro Swiss. Okay, Euro Swiss on. Look at this one. This is the hourly. Okay, do we have any trend here? No. Purely moving sideways, not a whole lot we can do with it. Again, we had this one marked off. Here's down here where we're looking for entry. Okay, we were looking for entry down here at 107.09. Didn't come in. It's not there. Hoping we get more out of that one, but we didn't. Okay. We didn't get the movement. I thought we would get more of a pop, but again, you guys can see this on the hour. This is 4 hours. We kind of stayed in the same area. Okay. So again, still holding 109.07. I'm sorry, 107.09 down to 106.70. And that was drawn off of, I believe, way back. Yeah, it was this gap over here. So if you guys are going back, find this one on the daily. It was a little bit too far back for us to. It's April 2017, so you're not going to find it on the hourly, on the 4 hour, but you can find it on the daily, and you can see it. It's sitting right down here at this level. Okay, so still holding firm for that one. That one is still in play, and again, that may not happen today. That may be a weekend, a Sunday night situation. All right, so this guy, here's where the gap is, and we ended up, our gap on this one on the 30-minute did end up getting breached a little bit. We were waiting for price to come down and see if we could get a good buy in there. It did pop through earlier today. You guys can see on this one here. We're at 21, and when we go back, this is putting us right around, what, 11:30 this morning, 10, 11 o'clock this morning, which coincides with FOMC news, right? It ended up, the whole thing started about, what, 9:30 this morning with the core retail sales number. We had that information here, and again, that's what drove this down. Or the first time we saw this being driven down. A lot of this had to do with the speeches as well. So again, not really surprised that this one pushed to the downside. I did think we get a little bit more of a bounce off of this one. The way that it's bouncing, though, we had one bounce here, and then we had a kind of lower bounce. I'm expecting this zone is going to break. So what I'm looking to do in this position right now is something along these lines. Okay, I'm looking for it to use this zone if we can break this zone and get short. Okay, I'm actually looking at this, something more along those lines. Okay, taking that and using that one as a short. Okay, wait for it to breach the zone, come up and retest, and then use that as your entry, right? And use this as your risk level, and then take it down to your 3-to-1 risk to reward target. Comes across, and it just happens to be before the big spike. Okay, it's actually down here, right where your profit target should be. Even your 5-to-1 is actually right at the very, very bottom, right above where the indicator has pulled off a demand zone. Okay, so not a bad little kind of position there if we can get a break. And again, this is a previously violated zone situation, right? We violated this one just barely, didn't get the bounce, ended up coming back through. If we collapse through, wait for it to get a little bit of clearance like this. But on the other side, down here, take it short. There's your risk level. Drop it. And again, your entry on this one, actually, hold on. The entry would be, oh, I just moved it. There. That's make it easier to see. All right, so our entry is, we can use that one. That's probably fine. Yeah, it's probably fine. Yeah, we'll use those. All right. So you're looking at entry at 89.09, and the stop loss section on the other side is at 85.15. Okay. You're streaming at 480? Is that like dial up? Wow, 480? Man, I'm looking. You guys can't see this, but I'm doing. Yeah, I mean I mean the resolution's kind of funky on the monitor, but it's 2560 by 1440 at 60 FPS. So I believe it's pretty high. And I do have a 1 gig up and down, but I get like 800 meg up, 800 meg down. Yeah, 480 I think is the lowest setting. God, now I'm curious. Now I'm like, hey, what am I streaming at on Twitch? Yeah, I'm at 1440 by 60 source, so mine is pretty high that I'm streaming at. You're like in the middle. It's way too choppy. Don't know. It's because Vanessa is sucking up all the bandwidth. That's what it is. Oh, look at that, guys. There's Q, but what is Q missing? Q, it says that Q is a Twitch Prime, right? He has Twitch Prime, but he's not a subscriber. So he is an unsubscriber. He doesn't have his KTS label on. Oh, Linda, I didn't know you're still in Jamaica. Really? Huh. When are you coming back? I thought you came back already. I could have swore you told me you're back. Oh, maybe it was her. You're confused because you're not a subscriber of the channel. It expires every 30 days. Yeah. Q's getting called out. We're gonna need to give him some of the salty tags, right? But here's the question. If she's not, here's my question, guys. Maybe we should take a vote on this. All right, here's the vote. I couldn't log on. Took a while to get lost. All right, here's the vote, guys, of the evening. Okay, if Vanessa is home and Lindo is still in Jamaica, does Vanessa miss Lindo more or does she miss Jamaica more? Hmm. Hmm. I think we all know the right answer on that one, though. All right, so that's what we got going on in this short one. Vanessa, she's gonna send some sage my way. All right, I can already tell. You think she misses Jamaica more? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Brian starting something. Ernest is like, yep. Maybe. I mean, me, I would never start anything. Ernest is throwing me under the bus. Um, right. Euro pound or euro yen. So, looking on the 4 hour, look where we're at. Okay. What is the price done? So we're here on the 4 hour. Okay. We are right here at the what? In this case, it's the 4 candle, right? Okay. Going back, here is the last 4 candle. So what has price done? It's hit the zone and it's pulled back. It's hit the zone and it's pulled back. It hits the zone, it's pulled all the way down and came up and it hit the end of the zone. So, do you guys think, and serious question, do you guys think there are sellers sitting in this zone that keep forcing this price back down? Sure, the answer is yes. Now, is this the best zone to be trading? No, the wick is absolutely gigantic to the top. So this one is very, very hard to figure out where the best entry is going to be. But is this hitting? Is this hitting sellers? Yeah, like I said, up, back, up, back down, up, and now it's pushing back over. Absolutely, there's orders sitting up here. Okay, but just because there are orders up there does not always mean that it's an area where we can get an entry, and that's where the problem is, right? Um, Again, the first thing you should be thinking about is not, is this an entry and can I make money off of this? The first thing you have to think about is, where's my risk level, right? How much, what do I got to risk, right, to be wrong? Because it can absolutely enter the zone. It's going to eat up the orders in this area, right? But how far, when would we be wrong? Where is the, I'm wrong, where's I'm the wrong line, right? That's the problem. So if you're going to use something in trade natics against this pair, the euro yen, again, you got a question, is this going to move enough from now till the expiration is number one. But at least that gives us a fixed amount of risk. Because whatever we get into the trade with, it's the most we can lose. I don't really care about the stop loss because the stop loss is basically the cost to enter the position. Spot currency, we can mess around with this a little bit longer, but I have to take into consideration that really that's where price went up to. That is my level of risk. Am I willing to take that level of risk? And the question is, in this case, maybe not. I mean, that's kind of a bigger zone, right, for this pair? I mean, you're talking about 55 pips as a stop loss. Do you want to be taking 55 pips on a stop loss? Me, not so much. Okay. So, there you go. Q subscribed for he's 5 months. And look at that. He was one of the founders, so he got his tag back again. Look at that. Back into the first. The Elite 10 or whatever we call it. I don't want to say top 10, but we'll call him the The special 10. The special 10. Yeah, this zone is huge. That's why I'm trying to point out to this one. Now, dropping it down to lower time frames again, that's where you're going to see even on the lower time frame, there's nothing that's super clean. I mean, again, something off this zone, but nothing's been great over here. So not really hasn't really been, what I've been looking for. All right. And again, that's euro yen is but again, there's nothing great on the top side. I don't like euro yen necessarily going to the Friday. Euro New Zealand. All right, so we had something sitting on this one. Where must have been the hourly. It's not that. Where did we draw this one on? Because none of these entry zones match. There. I don't know what this one was drawn off of, what time frame. I got to start marking them for the actual time frames. These are encompassing this bottom section. Not sure what we drew this one on. Back to here, so it would be something in this area, but again, we're not taking advantage of this. I'm not sure where this one's drawn off of. This is let me see. Must have been taking it. Anyway, had you been looking at this one, area is probably. I mean, look, was this a great area? No, it spent way too much time about this. This is like 10. This is like 10 pips, right, or 10 candles wide. So again, not the best area, at least on the 30-minute. Here's a better one. Again, this is a pop down, but it was drawn off this prior candle. It's not a bad zone, and that's where we ended up turning off of. Not great. This is not a bad little zone here. I don't like how this wick is higher, this red, but this green is pretty nice where it goes lower, lower, and then we exploded off of it. So that's not a bad little zone. The one that it drew, again, not horrible. You guys can see this one bounced bottom, top, and then back bottom again. This one has been channeling inside of about a 30 pip range sideways. I think this is going to collapse, and I think it's going to break through this zone. I don't think this is a bad buy down here. If you're looking to get into something, I don't think that this is a horrible kind of takeoff point. Now, this is counter trend. Obviously, we are moving to the downside, okay? But some type of a position in that area there, right? I don't think is horrible. This was a nice little kind of bottom. Like you can see, price came all the way down. It finally got, had the buyer step in, came back up again, and then bounced right off of that zone, that establishment of that same candle. So we know that there are buyers here. Whoops. Let's change this to green so we don't confuse everybody of what we are looking to do. Okay, something along those lines. So again, I think this zone is going to get breached. I think it will end up pushing through. I think if it does bounce and now continue to push higher, obviously this trade will invalidate itself. Okay, not something we have to worry about. What does this say? Vanessa, I've been on all the pip chips to whoever plays for my subscription. Wait, what do you mean you'll give all your pip chips? Isn't all your pip chips in the contest right now? Don't you have like 27 tickets right now? Wait, what do you mean you just need to win something? You won the prize. You got Vanessa. You have an unlimited amount of saging, right? Unlimited amount of saging. That was the point. Unlimited amount of saging. I'm just curious, like when you guys, and I'm sure every couple has disagreements. Like when you guys get into a disagreement, does she just run to the kitchen and grab the sage? I got her end saging. I just wondering, like, is that how you know that? Like, like there are certain things, like when someone does something, you're like, "Yup, argument's over," right? When she gets the sage, is that it? Is that like we're done? I'm saging you. A knife. Oh, nice. All right, so New Zealand, that's what we're looking for, guys, is a long going off this bottom demand zone. That's probably where I would stick it. Euro USD. All right, so Euros USD, like I said, not a bad, not a bad zone up top. It came back up. It grabbed some demand here and flipped and turned and then came back down. Again, this target's a little bit low. I probably would have set it off of this, although, again, we have, here's one, here's a lower one, here's a lower one. And again, that is inside of this zone here. As far as the 4 hour goes, we were up here before. All we did was drop into the sideways basing. So this one was not the biggest mover today. We're talking about 14 pips to the downside from where we were. Let's see, 5. I mean, this zone is not. We're only talking about 35. So not this. So this is not a horrible zone, right? I mean, it ended up hitting the very, very top of it, but do you see? I mean, we don't have explosive movement off this. I mean, it's getting us a downtrend setup. I'm not taking this as a downtrend setup. There's just no way. Again, it's already been turned away here, turned away. We already know that there's a demand zone here as well as another one right below it. So as far as a downtrend setup on the 30-minute, 4 hour, it's not that great. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, for 12 hours, we've had no movement. So I need a little bit more out of the euro. At this point, I'm hoping we get some type of a break. There's not even any good 4 hour zones in here. I don't know. I'd like to see this go top or bottom. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit off. Going into a Friday, I'm a little bit concerned about this one. Again, closer. At this point, I want to grind down. I want to be in one of these two 4 hour zones before the weekend. Okay, top or bottom, it's just not there. All right. Let's go down and look up the pound real quick. I would never start anything. Not me. Me. All right, pound Aussie. So pound Aussie, we had a little bit of movement, right? We had this little spike right here. 4 hour period of time. Again, we were moving sideways. We bounced up, and then we have sideways movement again. This was the ECB talk today. Actually, this is, I guess, the pound news from earlier today, but again, probably associated with the ECB talk. It's not the creditor survey. Yeah, it's probably the ECB conversation today, which gave them strength again. Or we're not given the extension. We're going to do it. But besides that, not enough movement. This zone is definitely valid up top still. Up here, I'll even draw it. If we can get price up into the zone. Okay. Something along those lines. If we can get up into that zone. And likewise, this is a level on top of a level. So I'm gonna see kind of what we have to the downside. I'm not gonna use this one because again, I spent a lot of time there. It was explosive, but again, I know why it was. Not enough movement. So right now there'd be a short on this one to the downside. If we can get price up in there, it's not going to do it tomorrow. We're talking about having to move about 106 pips, and this one has a daily ATR of 133. But again, it's got to put some work in to be able to get up to that range. Okay, got a bit to go, right? That's pound Aussie. Pound Swiss, kind of the same situation. Pound Swiss is sitting upside in basically a zone, right? It's not a great zone. Yeah, it's not even registering on any of these. You guys can see it's here, right? It's this little piece right here. But again, a little bit of retest. I'm still waiting for this to come back up top to the gap, and for, whoops, not that, and for something along those lines. And again, this would be a short, so we'll turn it red. All right, so pound doesn't really have much in it. Looking at New Zealand, I'm probably not gonna play it. Let's see what we got here. On the daily, we got sideways movement here. New Zealand daily, again, sideways. This one is doing a fairly go higher. Let's see. Swiss. No, it's kind of right there. So just at a quick look at this one, I don't really see pairs. None of these New Zealand pairs are lining up for much. Let's go over to dollar. Dollar yen. So dollar yen is up again. Anybody surprised? Not me. Okay. Looking at this one on the daily. We're super, super close, guys. We're right there. Again, I know the week doesn't like to end in red, but we're getting super, super close. This looks like this could definitely, if we get a continued push up tomorrow, it looks like on Sunday we could be sitting inside of this daily demand zone. Sorry, daily supply zone. This could be setting us up for a short next week, looking for some type of position to the downside. Potentially something along the lines of this for next week. So, for those of you that like to trade Nadex, this could be a Nadex setup for next week. Okay, that would be on the daily. Okay, we're not quite there yet. So again, don't just go starting to short positions. Again, this would be for next week. This would be something on a Sunday night open. If tomorrow we push higher and we get into this area, that could be the trigger. Even in spot currencies, is a 30 pip stop loss, which is not huge on the daily basis. It's got a 55 pip ATR on the daily, but that's where we could be setting up. And if you're looking for profit targets, the 3-to-1 is set pretty well, right? We're sitting right down in this level of basing. The second one is, there's nothing here, so we should have no problems getting down to the 5-to-1 if we can make the 3. All right. So again, this is a Sunday trade for next week. Looking at that one to be setting up. Looking at lower time frames. I'm trying to think. Would we take much out of this one? Not really. A horizontal line. That's how close we are. You guys see that line? Now can we go? Let's see. So basically, there's our gap. And playing around in this area right now. Those are two potential areas. This one has been hit pretty deeply. But those are giving us two small areas up there. So if you're looking to, have some type of an alert set for a position in the morning, there are your two. Right there. And that the proximal zone is at 110.52, and the farther zone, the distal zone, is at 111.05. Those where those two things start. Do the analysis, go back and find those same two areas. You'll be able to find them on the 4-hour, and you'll be able to find them based off of the gap, as well as the first kind of really drop, and then the basing level of the first base drop in that pattern. My ATR indicator doesn't stick. You mean it doesn't stick up here? This one? Or this one? It doesn't stick. Like, it doesn't stay there? I don't know. Shoot me a picture of it on Discord, and we'll get it fixed. So, waiting on this one. Got to be a little patient, waiting for that one to come up in his own, but we are looking for short positions. If you're looking to get in, like I said, this could be, this is set up on the 4-hour. I'm on the 30-minute. You guys can see how close we are. And again, we got some zones below it, but there's a lot of wick, a lot of sideways movement, not much. I'd probably play this on the 1-hour or the 4-hour. Okay. All right. Did I blow it up? Oh, no, it's right here. There we go. Swiss. So close. So close. I don't think we're turning here. I think we may pull down a little bit. I'm just a bit lower, and we're not quite there yet. Looking at this on the 4-hour, do we have any type of nice setup? No, not really. It's not really a great bottom anyway. Looking at this, let's see, switch back and forth. There we go. God, even this bottom is not that great. Again, level of basing right now. We're running into this level of supply. Again, if you're looking for something small to trade, again, this could be a nice little, nice reaction off of this. It did spend a lot of time there, so it's not the highest quality zone that exists. Because again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, over 10 in a sideways base, not the strongest in the world. And it has not been tested. This zone, very, very small, but this is a valid zone. It has been tested and kind of pushed away. So few levels of supply above. Again, with the geopolitical risk disappearing at this point, again, I think this one is going to continue to push higher. I would have liked a nice little clean area to come back to. I mean, there is this wick right here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but there's this wick right here. This. And again, we tested it here. So that's not a horrible area. I just don't like that this kind of gap down and, but again, So that could be some type of trade setup. You're looking to go long and then pull back into what? 96, what is it? 96.37 to 96.30, right? My indicator, will that work? You must be talking to him. I'm not sure. If you say. All right, so that's Swiss, dollar CAD. So, dollar CAD. This is one that should be red. We were looking for this one to break this zone. Okay, so this one has not done the entry that we were looking for. This is the one we were talking about, a Harry Potter entry, right? Talking about breaking this zone, coming back up, retesting, and then going short. And again, it just basically went sideways. It's been riding the top. It hasn't actually pushed through it yet. See what we get out of this one. Okay, so this trade is still set up there. Look at this one on the lower time frames. This was done off the 4-hour. Set on 4-hour. Try to make these easier to see. So that's still the play, waiting for this to go short. Again, we probably won't do it going to, but again, it could be a setup for Sunday night as well. So again, keep that on your radar for a potential short. That's it. Dollar Singapore, we can see what's over here. Again, not too much. Again, we're getting close to that. Got very close to the area of demand and kind of flip back over again a little bit. Have also been a red. Should have been a short. Cross. Bear with me one sec, guys. As well. All right. So there you go. You guys can see nice level here, and again, it's painting another level again. If we do get a pop up, there may be actually a third one. Again, this is a nice big, nice healthy push to the downside, right? This impulse, a little bit of correction, a little bit of correction, a little bit of correction up. Again, continue to push to the downside. We'll see if we can. All right, so that's it with the pairs. Like I said, it's Thursday night. We'll see what things look like going over Friday. Today was rather slow. I was expecting we get a little bit more movement today. We'll see what we have going into tomorrow. Just as a review, again, looking at Forex Factory, you guys can see going into your tomorrow, what do we have? We have retail sales early in the morning at 4:30, and then building permits, FOMC, and then University of Maryland consumer sentiment. If consumer sentiment is good, that definitely could be the potential and the driving force for what we need to end the day on a higher note. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, we broke 29,000. I could see this kind of pushing higher. And again, it'd be a great weekend, a great entry into the weekend to be, again, at all-time highs going into the weekend, right? So we'll see. It's all going to depend. And like I said, consumer confidence could be the big thing. And with spending, the retail sales numbers being as high as it is, I wouldn't be surprised if again, if consumer sentiment is not high, people don't spend money. So if you're seeing retail sales as good, most times you got to expect the consumer sentiment is good. The question is, will it beat 99.3? Will it be slightly higher than that? That will be the true question. All right. So let's go ahead and do the pip chips. Let's see if Lindo can actually do it. So let's see. Actually, hold on. Here's the giveaway. I don't even see Lindo in the list. Wait. Didn't he say he bought like 30 of them or something like that? How did that work? There, he has one. Did you withdraw your tickets, or were you just typing in 20? Did it give you a prop? I don't know. No, he only has one. Look, he's right here. Lindo only has one. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Let me see. Can I make it bigger? He only has one. No, look. He only has one. He doesn't have 21. Oh, you're on that screen? I'm sorry. See, it says he only has one. The one he just put in. Like he's not anywhere else on the list. I don't know. See, I think he's being tricky. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Did he pull him out? Did it say that it was? I saw him try to do that. Did it say that he had 20 in? Did it say you're confirmed for 20 tickets? Because I don't think it is. I don't know. I don't see anything that says he has 20. Hold on, I'm scrolling back right now. Now I'm curious. Oh no, that was him. He said successfully bought 20 tickets. And actually, hold on. He's trying to get everybody, but check this out. I want you guys to look at this. So he's playing some jokes, right? So check this out, guys. He's playing some jokes, but check this out. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, I wish I could make this bigger. It says exclamation point ticket 120. But then it says you successfully bought 20 tickets. So unfortunately, Lindo doesn't even know that he tried to buy 120 tickets. He only gave himself credit for 20. So, this is like this is like the bank robber trying to buy, trying to rob somebody with the banana as he's eating it. Come on, man, you almost got everybody. I saw 20 tickets. I didn't even see it, but now I'm looking. I'm like, oh my God, he bought 120 tickets. Or he tried to. All right, so that being said, let me shrink this sucker out here. Let's give you guys your tickets, and you guys can get on your way. And ready? It's closed down in 3, 2, 1, and bam. All right, ready? Winner of the drawing is Ryan. Ryan wins it. I'm telling you guys, Ryan has this strategy. Ryan has definitely picked it up. Ryan is like, yeah, I'll risk 10 to make 25 because one of them is free. I'm telling you, Ryan has a method. Ryan has gotten really good at this risk to reward thing. I'm going to risk 10 because remember, the first one is free. So he risks 10 pip chips, but he's also a subscriber, so he's getting more than 10 pip chips, right? So he is net positive every single chart school. No, he trust me, Ryan's actually done pretty well with this. I mean, he's not lost. It's never cost him anything. It's not rigged for subscribers. Man, there's always that one guy, and he always has a Mac. So Ryan is good there. Where is Ryan? And Ryan spends money too. 25 pip chips. I wouldn't say he barely wins it. But again, James, he's still making more pip chips every night than he's actually risking. That's the thing. Because as a subscriber, if we're on for at least an hour, he is making, what, 12 to 15 pip chips every night? So he's still net positive every night, even though he buys that extra ticket. And then when he wins the 25, that's like 2 additional chart schools that he's attended. Right? Because it only costs him 10. So he's still net positive. He's still making pip chips. See? See? Now, if you bought 3, it would mess the ratios up. But 2 is not necessarily bad, even if you win or even if you lose. And he did have, what, a 16% chance? So technically speaking, he's gonna get more wins having a 16% chance. See? Smart statistics. It's too much math. I know. Ernest is like, just give me my cigar, my bourbon, and let me let me deal with my pile. We're all buying 2 now. You could, James. You could all buy 2. What I need to do is I need to do the other one where we have to you have to pick something, and then remember when you do that one, right? Maybe we'll do that on Monday night. Maybe Monday night I'll do one for a position that runs through on Thursday, and we'll maybe we'll do that because then you guys get to pick one or the other one, and the winners get the pool of all the pip chips that people bet. He's like, I only need one. All right, guys. With that said, I'm out of here. You guys have a good Friday morning. Again, I will be around tomorrow morning. If you need anything, as long as my neighbors don't bust the power out, I will have the indicator enrollment page set up tomorrow. If you guys have any questions about that one, Ernest has been testing it for me as well. He complained so much I had to give it to him to help me test it, and he's had nothing but good things to say about the supply and demand tool. So, um, with that being said, I should have that page up tomorrow. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't have the page up tomorrow, and then we will have a digital download. Remember, and again, I'll just remind you guys, for anybody that does end up purchasing that indicator to use, we do plan on setting a few different revisions out. So again, we are going to put basically there'll be time constraints in there, so they expire. But we're going to be sending a couple different updates as we kind of further refine and tweak it. So there'll be different times where I'll shoot you an email and you'll have to download the new version. All right. I think enough pip chips. I think I have enough. Soon. I'm a win when I subscribe. Honestly, Lindo, if you subscribe and you win the first time, then yes, maybe I'll say it's rigged. I don't think it is, but not a Mac user. All right, guys. I'm out of here. You guys take care. Have a good night. Good trading tomorrow. And again, don't forget, for anybody that has that newsletter subscription, again, the newsletter, I will update the gaps within 15 minutes typically of them going live. But everything else will typically be updated by Sunday morning. You'll be able to see those starting to go in tomorrow, probably tomorrow evening. You'll start to see the summaries and probably the high quality levels will already starting to be updated tomorrow night. So don't forget, if you are a subscriber, that is $10 for the entire month. The last 2 weeks, we banked over 60 pips each week, so it's definitely paid for itself for anybody that has gotten subscribed. All right? Yeah, it's for 30 days. Now, it's not an automatic renewal right now. It's not set up that way. I'm going to try to set it up that way, but right now it's just basically you pay for 30 days. That's it, and then you would have to repay for 30. It'd be like it's a manual kind of subscription thing. All right, guys, take care. Have a good night, and I will catch you tomorrow.